Hello and welcome to Inside Business, making headlines. Markets see rebound over positive US data. World trade sees 25% increase in second quarter. And IT security experts warn UAE is one of the top 3 countries in the Middle East witnessing cybercrime activity. The GCC markets gained today over global cues. The UAE bourses followed suit. The DFM climbed 0.75% to close at 1,497 points. DP World gained over 2.25%. The company is now the world's 3rd biggest port operator, or holding 6.7% of the global market share. MR Properties was up 1.25%, while Aramex jumped 3%. 52 million shares were traded in total, valued at 84 million dirhams. The ADX gained 0.1% to close at 2,494 points. Abu Dhabi Commercial Bank climbed 1.2%. Goldman Sachs has raised the company to buy from neutral. Abu Dhabi National Energy Company TAQA gained 1%. The company says it has not been officially informed of the breach of contract lawsuit filed by its former CEO in an American federal court and will respond at the right time through legal channels. 39 million shares were traded in total, valued at 126 million dirhams. Global stocks recorded 2-week highs following strong US and Chinese manufacturing data, though there were poor reports from the US automobile sector. To discuss this, we're joined by financial analyst Bruce Powers. Welcome to the show, Bruce.
Thank you very much.
Now, GM has reported a 25% fall in US sales in August. Toyota and Ford also reported sale declines. Would you say this is a reflection that consumers are now staying at home?
This is one of the weakest Augusts in the last 25 years, according to some reports, for auto sales, and reflects a reluctance on behalf of consumers to spend on big-ticket items due to growing economic uncertainty. Government incentive programs have ended, and dealer incentives and low interest rates have been unable to entice consumers back into the showroom. We've seen a similar bearish trend in the housing market recently. Now, keep in mind that consumers usually do not have to buy a new car. It's a choice rather than a requirement. If we look at the overall trend in GM and Ford, we still see strength so far, and in Toyota, we see relative weakness compared to the other automakers, and the potential to go to new lows in the foreseeable future.
Yes, a slacking demand by weary customers continues to trouble automakers. Now, a report released earlier this week by Kuwait Financial Centre revealed a 6% decline quarter-on-quarter earnings for GCC corporate, although Bahrain posted a 29% year-on-year growth in earnings. So going forward, what sectors are there to look out for in Bahrain?
The banking sector led the way, improving 40% in the second quarter and 5% in the first half of this year, year over year. All banks were profitable except for Bahrain Islamic Bank. Lower loan loss provisions help offset lower lending. So we want to keep an eye on the banking sector given this strong trend in earnings relative to the other sectors. On the other hand, construction, financial services, and real estate sectors saw a decline in earnings, so you want to be careful there.
The construction industry is never too far off the radar. Thanks for your time, Bruce.
Thank you very much.
World trade has increased by over 25% for the second quarter of 2010 compared to the same period last year. World Trade Organization figures show that emerging economies have witnessed strong export growth. A second quarter rise for Russia and other former Soviet republics at 43.9% and 37.5% in Asia. Global exports in the second quarter were 7% higher than in the first quarter of this year, and the WTO expects exports to grow by over 10% in volume this year after shrinking by 12% in 2009. The figures are based on monthly statistics from about 70 economies, representing about 90% of world trade. Advertising revenues have increased by 20% across the GCC in the first half of the year. According to a study by Pan Arab Research Centre, companies within the Gulf region have spent $5.5 billion on advertising from January to June 2010, compared to $4.2 billion year on year. Bahrain was in the lead with an increase of about 40% in expenditure, followed by Oman, Qatar and Saudi Arabia. Although the UAE witnessed a decline of 4%, the country still holds the largest market share at 31%.
Particularly into UAE market, in 2009 it declined by 27%. However, the decline is much more contained in half year 2010 as compared to half year 2009. And if you look into the Ramadan data, there is an upswing of 5%. So the trend is definitely growing up. Basically, the fundamentals of this region are quite strong. And as the sentiments keep pace with the fundamentals, the region is definitely bound to grow.
And in our fast financial news, Apple has launched the latest version of its iTunes software Ping, allowing users to build networks of friends and professional musicians. The company has also upgraded the iPod, which now has 4 times the resolution of the previous version, as well as a battery life of 40 hours. There were positive results across most of the Gulf markets today. Let's check in on those numbers now, starting off with the UAE general indexes. Coming up now, let's take a look at the major international currencies against the dirham, followed by the price of oil and the precious metals. On the way after the break, we talked to Bulent Texos, Regional Technology Manager at Symantec MENA, about the growth in cybercrime activity in the Middle East. That's when Inside Business continues. Stay with us.